Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Daniel James, and as always, if you're new here, welcome. I'm not sure about you, but over the last week or so, I've had my newsfeed on my socials bombarding me with the fact that there's only 3 months left of the year. And there's been people on there encouraging me, and probably you, to get going and make sure that you finish the year strong. And although I agree with what they're saying, I feel like it's not really giving any tangible, useful things that's going to help you, except for just that little spark of motivation that, as we know, doesn't really last long. So today I want to share with you 3 things that you can do to actually make real lasting changes in your life, not just for the next 3 months of the year, but actually for every step of your journey. I want to give you the 3 things that I have personally used and have helped me overcome these little stumbling blocks, because for those of you who know my story, time and time again, I would keep self-sabotaging. I get a little bit of success and then I would undo it. And it's because I didn't really know how to make lasting change. So I want to just share with you 3 things I use and I use to my clients to help them make that lasting change. Now, the first one may sound a bit simplistic, but once you have done these kind of things properly, it's life-changing, and I don't use that word lightly. And for those that have seen the testimonials of my Send coaching clients, you will know all too well the power of this and how highly they spoke of that. So the first step is defining your values and your vision. Now, your vision is just kind of like where you actually want to go. And I kind of understand that you may have got some idea, but we need to get a bit more crystal clear on where it is that we actually want to go. Because if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to be motivated to push your life that way? And people will say, oh yeah, I just want to be successful. Okay, well, define success. Right now, what does success mean to you? Because if you don't know, and you can't give me a clear definition, then how are you ever going to know when you get it? Or more importantly, how are you going to know to move towards it? And then the second thing people normally say is, oh, I just want to be happy. Okay, well, what does happiness mean to you? Once again, if you can't define what happiness means to you, how are you ever going to know how to get it? And when you actually do get it, what it looks like? So we need this vision. And this vision can actually compel us to want to do better and to want to do more. Rather than just saying like this fluffy, I kind of want this. Like, no. What do you actually want your future to look like? What do you want, more importantly, the future version of you to look like? And that's what I get my clients to really focus on. Like, what do you want this future version of you to look like? For those of you, the long-term listeners of the show, you will notice that my outfit changed. The backdrop of the podcast has changed. Everything has changed as I've started to level up the version of me that I want to become. I've thought, well, what kind of life do I want to lead? What kind of person I want to be? Like, oh, how would they dress? And yes, don't get me wrong, I still walk around the house in hoodies. But when I'm in work mode, that's not how I want to live. I don't want to be working in hoodies. I want to be wearing nice jumpers, like polo tops, like feeling smart. When I feel smart, it brings a different energy to it. So all these small little minute things make a massive difference. What kind of life do you want to have? And what kind of person do you want to be? When you create that compelling future, it should get you excited and actually motivate you to want to change. Because if you kind of I kind of want to change, but you don't know why, why is change so important? Because you can't stay the same as you are right now and get different results. It's not how it works. If the version of you could get the results that you wanted, you already would have got them. So we need to level up. And the second part of this is defining your values. Now, values are the things you sort of stand by. They're things that help you with decisions. What do you actually value? What do you stand for? And values aren't just words, they're actions. How do you actually show up? How does this version of you show up on the way to getting that future life that you want? Because once you've got that, it makes it so much easier for you to live your life and make these changes. Because the reason why people struggle so much with change is that when they're faced with difficult decisions, they don't know how to act. They don't know what to do. So they go back to their old default setting, which is why they get stuck. Whereas if you can define your values, the goal that you want and the kind of person you want to be, you've got that as a framework. Is this decision that I'm about to make in alignment with my values? Is it in alignment with the kind of person that I want to be? And is this decision going to positively or negatively impact the future life that I want? It gives you a framework. It allows you to have a lot more control. And with that more control, that's how you make real lasting change, because it's not just done on a whim. It's done strategically. There's a framework. There's a process that you know that's moving you towards that goal. Because for me, when I was getting success in say, my future life, like my past life, like I've somehow been reincarnated. But for me, it seems like a past lifetime ago. But again, early on in my life, my career, when I was getting success, I didn't know how I was getting success, so I couldn't replicate it. But if you've got a framework, it can be replicable. You can keep doing it time and time again. Second thing that we can do to make lasting change is implement systems, not just set goals. So yes, we've now said we need this sort of goal, this future version of us. That's great. But what systems are you going to put in place to help you achieve that? Let's say one of your goals is to be an author. Cool, that's the goal. That's great. But what system are you going to put in place to make sure that you achieve that? Like what little things you're going to do? And this kind of ties into habits. So the system that you could have in place is every day before you check your emails, you're going to write 500 words, for example. That kind of ties into habits, the non-negotiables. Like, what things do you have? What habits do you have? What non-negotiables do you have? Non-negotiable meaning that you don't negotiate with yourself. It is something that you do that is important to you and helps you move your life forward. So it could be daily reading. It could be meditation. It could be getting outside walking. It could be exercising. It could be eating healthy. I'm not telling you what to do. I never tell my clients what to do. And if you notice the podcast I did with Leah, she noticed that was one of the things that shocked her the most was she was expecting me to give her the answers, and I wasn't. No one knows you better than you know yourself. I can't give you the answers. I'm not here to tell you these non-negotiables because my non-negotiables are specific to me. They're personal to me. Your non-negotiables need to be specific to you and personal to you. Something that means things to you, that holds you down, that keeps you mentally in a really good place and just grounds you. And they keep you on track day after day after day to get that future version of you that you want. So just think about what are those non-negotiables and actually set them. Implement these non-negotiables. Have a system in place that helps you towards your goals rather than stands in your way. Because so many times we just don't have systems. We don't have anything in place. We're just hoping, wishing, and praying that I can't make time for that. No, habits, systems, routines. And the third and final thing that we can do is, and you've heard me talk about this a million and one times, but I'm going to say it again because it's been so life-changing for me. For real lasting change, what we need to do is have regular self-reflections and adjustments. And that could be weekly, it could be monthly, it could be quarterly. But the important thing with this is what we're doing is we're checking in with ourselves because we set these big lofty goals that, yeah, cool, I want to do that. And then we don't check in with ourselves. And when we don't check in with ourselves, we aren't keeping ourselves accountable. Because that's ultimately what you're going to be struggling with. That's what most people that come to with struggle with is accountability. They need someone to hold them accountable. And yes, at the start, I am holding them to account. But then what happens is I just slowly release the reins until they're starting to be accountable to themselves. If you've got this really big, compelling future that you want, this big dream, this big version of you, and it's very clear in your mind, you'll start to hold yourself accountable because you'll want better for yourself. But with this self-reflection, it's not just about holding you to account and checking in with yourself. It's also celebrating the wins. Because all too often, we don't allow ourselves to just stop and say, wow, yeah, really good job. Or if we do, we then take our foot off the gas, which is then when the accountability comes back in again. So this isn't just belittling ourselves and beating ourselves up. This is also saying, hey, good job. Celebrating those little wins. But if there is any issues, we can just course correct. It doesn't have to be anything drastic, but we can't manage what we don't measure. We need to actually start to measure, are we doing the things we said we were going to do? Are we sticking to our non-negotiables? Are we doing those 500 pages a day? If not, why not? What can we do? Have we set our things so unrealistic? Are we trying to achieve too much too quickly? Are we getting distracted? Is our environment not great? Mentally, are we not in a good place? All of the things that we talk about week in, week out on this show. I'm trying to give you the blueprint with this. It's all the stuff that I personally have had to do. The reason I'm so passionate when I talk on here, and if you've ever seen me on stage, you'll see the passion, is because I'm trying to give you the information which I wish I'd had sooner, and the information I'm implementing and helps me with my life. And I'm not perfect. I still have bad days. But all of these tips that I come here every week and help you with, they're the things that help me stay on track. They're the things that stop me going back into that dark place. They're the things that help me just stay that little bit sharper. And if you know anybody that could benefit from this, don't waste a second. Get your phone out, load up WhatsApp, just send them, hey, go check out this podcast. Because the more you get the word out there, the more people we help. That's my mission. When we talk about that vision, that goal, that's my mission. to help as many people as possible get out of the mental prison that they put themselves in. Because I've been there and I needed to get myself out, and there wasn't people out there talking about this stuff. That's my mission. And that's why I choose to show up each week and do this for you guys. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Until next time, take it easy.